together. Yeah, remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build.
Now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a better nation. We have been stagnant for many, many years. The same set of politicians, they were there for 20-something years, and they just couldn't see nothing new to introduce, to do, to transform this place. It's like you being in a house and you sweeping every day and not recognizing that the corners are still dirty. And somebody from outside has to come and say, look, the corners, they're dirty. They're not clean. You need to sweep the corners also. So that is what we had in government for 20-something years. And to them, they thought they were doing good. To them, they thought that everything was fine. But look at the condition of our roads. The NDC has to come now and widen it, put drains, do a lot of work on our roads. Look at the condition of our clinics and hospitals. The NDC had to come again and renovate, upgrade the schools, the police stations, the community centers, the basketball and netball courts, the playing fields. And we can go on and on and on. The housing situation in the country. So the NDC had to come and fix that, or start the process of fixing that. So you hear people from time to time who support the NNP or who support the movement saying, well, show me one major project that you have done. Well, the NDC, only 3 years in office, has to continue with the many projects that the NNP did not get out of the pipeline, that the NNP never did. So yes, some of them funding was secured for it, but that is what government is all about. It is a continuum. It continues. When you lose, the party that comes in, they form the government, and they must continue the projects and the programs and introduce new ones. But you don't expect the NDC to introduce everything new. Stop all that they met and roll out new stuff only. Then it doesn't make sense. You have something called government. Then let's say you have a party, just party and not government. So when NDC is in power, they do projects and programs and so on. When they're out of power, the NNP will just scrap all that they did and start from scratch and do their own thing. And then the taxpayers will lose. The country will lose. So the NDC came into power, and yes, they met projects and programs and so on. When the NNP came into power in 2013, it was a similar situation. They made programs and projects and all those things, and they continue it. It is simple like that. So those NNP pundits and, well, some movement now, they're all uptight with the fact that the government is continuing with a number of projects and programs and initiatives. You can't be vexed about that. That is what government and governing is about. But I want to say there is a heightened level of desperation on the part of the NNP and their surrogates. I mean, there are talk radio programs now that have become pure political. The callers, they have, swing from just speaking about simple issues to dive in deeper into the politics. But that's expected. That is expected. We were approaching 3 years. You can expect the NNP to be more vicious. You can expect the NNP to be more nasty. You can expect the NNP to activate all their cells in the media, in government departments, in the police, in prisons, in statutory bodies. They would seek to sabotage, to undermine, to spread misinformation and all kinds of stuff. Because that is what they do best. They're accustomed with that. They did it between 2008 to 2013 and they succeeded. But this time around, they're not getting their way. And it is causing a serious problem for them. Because it's not easy for you to be knocking to get in, and you just can't get in. It will frustrate you. It will cause you to be paranoid. You will act crazy. And that is exactly how the NNP is acting. They're acting crazy. They're acting mad. Because they thought, well, the NDC going to collapse in the first 6 months, or the first year, or the second year, or the third year. But they have not seen that. And all that they have thrown at the NDC never worked, never came true. They were never successful at it. And that could cause serious frustration and desperation. And that is why we are seeing the level of desperation today. NNP is desperate because they never thought that the NDC would come and stabilize things, that the NDC will come and fix things, that the NDC will come and introduce new things. They never thought so. They thought that these guys wouldn't last and that this thing will fall apart. But they're seeing with their very eyes that the NDC means business and that Grenada is being transformed step by step by step. People are happier in the country. In fact, one of those political cockroaches this morning, well, he says he doesn't support the NNP anymore. He's now supporting the movement. He went as far as to say, well, the minimum wage is nothing and it's the law. And one party had it on pause and the other just following the law, and it's nothing. But the NNP was in power for 23 years and a half. And not once have they adjusted the minimum wage so that people can have a better salary, especially those who are in the lower bracket within our workforce. Not once have they adjusted the minimum wage. But still, for all, that political cockroach who says he's no longer supporting NNP, but is now supporting the movement, which is, in my belief, remnants of the RMC and Codites. They were against Bishop, so they are Codites. They sabotage and undermine Bishop. They are Codites. So they saying that they are part of this movement. But I am saying, folks, for a person to think that way, to see the minimum wage adjustment as nothing, something has to wrong with this guy. The cheaters on the streets. Something has to wrong. Something has to be wrong with him. Plain and simple. Because you go and speak to the security officers. They're getting a better wage. You go and speak to the young lady who works in the Indian store or in the Syrian store. She's getting a better wage. You go and speak to the cleaners, the cooks, the housekeepers, the gardeners, the bus conductors, the laborers, the clerks, the office attendants. You go and speak to these people, and they will tell you how transformative the minimum wage adjustment has been to them and their family. So this is no easy thing. And we have to commend, we have to applaud the NDC administration for being bold, for caring for people. They did not hesitate. They told the Grenadian people, we will adjust the minimum wage. They started the consultations and they came up with figures. Even media workers, they're covered under the minimum wage. So for the NNP and the movement, they're desperate. They cannot see anything good that happened in the last 3 years. They just can't. And you ask them, but you have children and grandchildren attending TAMCC. You no longer have to find that $810 every year to pay TAMCC because your caring government is paying TAMCC for you, for your children, for your kids. If you have a child going to NULO, same thing. The government is paying for them. And we can go on and on and on. And mind you, all the social safety net programs remain. It's not like the NDC came and cut those social safety net programs. They're still there. But they added new ones. You see, the NDC is focusing heavily on people's development. And that is important. Because they are not abandoning the building of schools. No. You see, the Grenada Christian Academy, that school is being constructed with millions and millions of dollars. The St. Andrew Anglican Primary School, that too is being constructed. And then you know about the St. David Catholic Secondary School that will be starting soon in the Malmont area, and quite a number of other schools, school for special ed, right? Those in the Limes, that too is being expanded. So a lot is happening in education, in health. We see the new hospital is done to be constructed, right? Then you have the kitchen at the hospital that was upgraded and modernized. Nurses are getting a better salary. Doctors are getting a better salary. The medical stations are being refurbished. They have digitalized the whole system so they know what medication is in stock and what is not in stock and how they need to replenish, right? Or stock up. So things are happening, you know. More ambulances are available for use, the hospital, and so on. I'm saying still the NNP, the surrogates, those political bandits, as I call them, haters of progress, they still will tell you that nothing is happening in this place. And mind you, what they want to see is young men and women on the blocks. They vex you. In fact, the old Kribo said, coming from St. Mark, and then he reached Gove and so on, and nobody on the blocks. But the political lunatic doesn't realize the reason why they're not on the block. They're not on the blocks because they have work. They have work. They have dough to make. They have money to make. They're working now. That is why they're not on the block. They're in construction. They're in fishing. They're in agriculture. They're working. So don't expect to see them on the blocks. So the numbers will go down on the blocks. The guy is upset that these people are not on the block still. Because he's saying, well, I used to see them on the blocks. How they ain't on the blocks anymore? They're working now. They're occupied. So things are happening for our people, bit by bit by bit. Everything cannot be done at once. That is why you have 5 years, a term of 5 years. And it cannot even be done in one term. So you need 2 and 3 terms to really make a serious impact. So we are grateful. We are thankful that the NDC is in power and that things are happening for our people. Our communities are being transformed. And even if you hate or dislike the government, you need to be objective. You need to be honest. If you go into those communities tonight, for example, you will see life in those communities. You will see life in those communities. Things are happening in the community. Before it was not so. Before it was not so. In fact, I went to Mount Hon and I was saying to a friend, I think they need to bring some life in Mount Hon, right? If they can build a basketball court, if they don't have one as yet. Well, where I went to by the playing field area, I didn't see one. Maybe they have one there. I don't know. I haven't seen one there. But because I have seen so many communities with basketball courts and that lit, and they paint and they modernize it, and playing fields lit and modernized. Everywhere I go, I would say, I want to see that one so too. I want to see that one so too. So it has to plague any Grenadian's conscience who would go around, look, see what's happening, and still say that government is not doing X, Y, or Z. The government is performing well. But we must support them. Because we know that stupid season is around the corner. And all political mongoose and so on will be all about the place. Like they have rabies, attacking government, spreading false information or misleading information. And they could see all the problems. Then they would be able to see all the problems. But they have no solutions. Stupid season is not far away. We're approaching 3 years. So expect to see them come out. They would be on talk radio. They would be all about the place, in shops, on buses, everywhere. And then you would see the true colors of some of them. You will see the true colors of some of them when we break 3 years. Once we reach 3 years and we're going on to 4, you will see the real color of some of these people. Because stupid season is not far away. So you have to kind of expect that. Look out for that. A lot of lies, a lot of misinformation, a lot of scandal that they concoct. Just look at this woman. Up to this day, she has not brought forward a shred of evidence to prove that the Honorable Andy Williams is involved in anything, not a shred of evidence. But still, you have some political mongoose calling the Plead Your Cause program and accusing or hinting that what the woman said is X and Y, because all they want is bad news. All they want is for attacks to be on the government. That's all they want. But if you have a podcast, you run a program, and you have evidence of corruption or wrongdoing by any minister, you telling me that you would refuse to put the evidence out on your program? That doesn't sound right. You have to release the thing there. Let everybody discover or get to know what the facts are. But no, you yapping, no facts, no evidence. What you expect the Grenadian people to do? They'll call you a liar. You have lost credibility. It is simple like that. You have a program with listeners and viewers, release it. Up to this day, she has not been able to release any evidence to substantiate the claims that she continue to make. What they believe that Grenadians are stupid. Huh? We're living in the day of artificial intelligence. If I want something now, I just go into DeepSeek or Chat GPT and everything just flow. It's easy like 1, 2, 3. You have to present the evidence. You have no right, not because a person can speak. So you have the right to speak. You are free to speak. But you have no right to say things that are not true, to say things that are false, and make it even worse. You use different platforms to do those things, to damage people's good name and character. So while you are free to speak, freedom of speech, you're not free to lie on people, to discredit people with your lies and misinformation. And then you ask yourself, what this individual is trying to achieve. She believes that Grenadians going to believe her, follow what she's saying without evidence. Come on. And that is why you see everywhere you go, people laughing at the woman. They're laughing because you have to put the evidence on the table. That is important. Because anybody could accuse anybody. But if you have no evidence, why then do you accuse another? Folks, it is almost 3 years. We're approaching 3 years in power. So Saturday is the 21st. Sunday is the 22nd. And Monday is the 23rd. So election was 3 years ago on June the 22nd. And then the victory came, and by the 23rd, we know what it was. A new government was on the horizon. I think cabinet ministers were sworn in on the 1st of July. I stand to be corrected, but I think sometime in July. I know the prime minister was sworn in, I think a couple of days after the election, or a day or so after the election. And the attorney general. Normally, that's the kind of procedure. And then the others would wait for. So I think it was July the 1st. But the government, the election, the 3-year anniversary, is on the 22nd, 23rd. That period, when the election results came out, it was it. That was it. So we are approaching that mark. But in terms of election cycle, the year starts when the cabinet is sworn in. So from July the 1st to July the 1st, that's 1 year in the term. From what I understand, that's 1 year in the term. So we are not yet 3 years in the term. July the 1st will make it 3 years as a term. So you have another 2 years to go. So from July the 1st to July the 1st again, and from July the 1st to July the 1st again. That would make it 5 years. But by law, the government still has 90 days to utilize if they want. So July, August, September of 2027, somewhere down there. All right. And it's a short period. It is a short period. So expect a lot of attacks. Expect that between now and the election. Because remember, the election could be called in the next 6 months. It could be called in the next year or less. It's up to our beloved Prime Minister, the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, to call the election. All right? So being prepared is important. And that is why last night I spoke about the Electoral Office. Because a Grenadian called me yesterday. And she said to me, she went to get registered. She bought everything. Right? But just awaiting the approval of the registration officer. Because she did everything, the fingerprint, the photo, the everything. And then the registration officer called her on his phone and says, you will not be able to register. You have to come back in 1 year time. And she was like, but why? I'm a Grenadian, born and bred. It's not that I became a Grenadian. I'm a Grenadian first and foremost, and then I'm a Commonwealth citizen. But first and foremost, I am a Grenadian. So she said, that can't be right. No. But the registration officer is a known NNP activist. Same thing in St. John. My aunt, she's the registration officer up there. She's a NNP. She's a known NNP. That's what I know. She's a known NNP. It's not no if, but, or maybe. And there are a lot like her who are registration officers. Because under the NNP, they had these people put in place. And they're controlling who gets registered or not. Because they're using their own interpretation of the law. But if you're a Grenadian citizen, you have all right to get registered. No one could prevent you. So because you leave Grenada and you go to America for 3 months or 6 months or 4 months, and you come back, they say you're not ordinarily resident here. That is what they interpret it and say. So if you go to America, England, or Canada for 3 times in the year, say you can't get registered. But the law doesn't say so. So they're interpreting it wrongly. So the NDC has to step up and have some of these people in the different parliamentary electoral offices change. You need people who are fair and balanced and who are not deeply political in those offices. And definitely those NNP operatives, they need to be removed from those electoral offices. They should be removed because something isn't right there in a lot of those offices, or people are going to get registered and being turned away. And when you ask why, the reasons they're given is not constitutional, it's not legal, it's not grounded in the actual law. They're using their own interpretation because they're trying to push away our supporters, because the people who are being pushed away are our supporters, not theirs, our supporters. And that is where you win or lose an election. It boils down to registration. It boils down to the people who are registered. They're the ones who can vote, who could vote in an election. So that is very important. Very important that, because you see, we have a supervisor of election. He has to take up his job and duty. And sometimes these people just forget how they became that, how they get that position. Because they arrive. And as a result, it's a different ball game. I know the guy, right? He has always been a good pal of mine. But what we are seeing in the electoral office, it is scary. There is a need for urgent attention to be given to those electoral offices. Urgently so. Because there are registration officers at the constituency level who are doing whatever they want and turning away our Grenadian brothers and sisters. In fact, I called that guy yesterday, the individual. I called him and I said, what you are doing is wrong, is illegal. This lady is a Grenadian first and foremost, not a Commonwealth citizen. She is a Grenadian. And you cannot turn away a Grenadian from registering to vote or to get the ID. You can't. So good that the lady is challenging all of this. And the NDC was informed about it because I passed the information to them. But I'm speaking about it to raise awareness and to call on the NDC to do more where that is concerned with the electoral offices. Because the NNP is paying a lot of attention to it, and they have the operatives, because most of the people who are registration officers, they were registration officers under NNP. Under NNP. So as a result, what you expect, where the loyalty would lie. So there is a need for urgent attention to be given to that. Because I would not stop speaking about this matter. I will not stop. Because I know how you win an election and how you could lose it. And they're targeting the marginal seats. So if you look at St. John, for example, they have about 100 and something objections. But my aunt, who's a registration officer there, she's a known NNP. So why you have all these objections and all kinds of stuff in those places? And you can go to other constituencies and you'd see a similar thing. Those marginal ones. And then you see the NNP targeting Carriacou and PT Martinique, targeting that constituency. And some in St. Andrew. So we have to step up and stay on top of this when it comes to the electoral offices. Because our people are going there to get registered and being turned away for no legal reason at all. We have to put our feet down. That's why you win or lose an election. Because in government, you could be doing all kinds of good things. But you have to register. You have to get your people registered so that they can vote come the election. That is important. And staying on top of that is key. So I want to encourage the NDC as a political party to do more when it comes to the electoral system, when it comes to the offices, and making sure that our people get registered. And the government needs to get rid, well, we know it's the process is the governor general and da. But you control the governor general anyways. She works on the advice of the prime minister. That's how it is. So you have to get rid of these NNP operatives who are registration officers. You have to get rid of them. That's key. They ought not to be there. Get people who are more, respectable, who have integrity in my belief, right? Who have good standing in society, who could, even if you might support a party, but you could balance it out. You're going to do the work professionally and competently. That is what you need to see. It has to happen. And it has to happen quickly. Because people are being turned away. Our people. Our Grenadian brothers and sisters. That can't be allowed to continue. No. It can't. I'm challenging it. Folks, our beloved Prime Minister, he has a cruise on Sunday coming. So please support that cruise.
Set sail into a night of elegance and enchantment as we celebrate leadership and legacy aboard the Prime Minister's cruise on Sunday, June 22nd, a spectacular all-inclusive premium evening on the newest jewel in luxury cruising, Ecstasy. Indulge in exquisite food, delight yourself in handcrafted cocktails, and enjoy spectacular views as we drift along the shimmering water under a canopy of stars. Whether you're toasting to progress or simply indulging in a night of class and comfort, this exclusive cruise is the place to be. Tickets are $350 EC and include everything. Yes, everything. But space is limited and luxury awaits for no one. We look forward to welcoming you as we celebrate 3 years of leadership on Sunday, June 22nd. The Prime Minister's Cruise. Let's toast to progress and unity.
Yes, and you can get the tickets at Optical. You can get the tickets at Optical. You know that glasses place, right? Eyes. You can go and check your eyes there and that kind of thing. Optical in St. George's and in Grandans. You can get it at Redgate to Redgate, the NDC office at Redgate. You can get it there too. So pick up your tickets. It's $350. That's EC money. $350 EC. So get your tickets today. All right. The St. John constituency branch, they have a cruise coming up too. I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Get ready to turn up the energy and celebrate in style as NDC St. John proudly presents the most anticipated event of the summer. It's Shake It to the Max. Shake It to the Max, the night cruise, all going down on Friday, June 20th. We take the vibe to another level. We celebrate another anniversary through transformation, a journey of progress, power, and pure party energy. We board the Kayak Princess on the Lance Jetty in Guam. Boarding time 7 p.m. and we sail 8 p.m. sharp. The hottest DJs will be on board. Selector Shaki, DJ I, Top Sound, Anil, and Juby. Get your tickets for only $75. Get yours now from any St. John.
Right. From any St. John member, right, of the constituency branch. That is what they wanted to see there at the end of it all. All right. So pick up your tickets at the office, the constituency office. They're boarding at Gov, the jetty in Gov, which is good. All right. So pick up your tickets. The St. Patrick East and West cruise, that is on the 28th of this month. 28th of this month. So don't forget that. All right. It was postponed or pushed back. It was supposed to be last weekend. Now it's 28th of this month. 28. Kayak Party in New York, they have a big event coming up too.
A vibrant evening inspired by the beauty and colorful blooms of the Bougainvillea plant awaits you as the Carriacou and Petit Martinique NDC support group welcomes you to Bougain, a spectacular floral soiree on Saturday, June 28th, starting at 7 p.m. Enjoy an all-inclusive outdoor experience at 618 East 87th Street in Brooklyn. Get ready to treat your senses and enjoy the culinary delights at Bougain. Indulge in an exquisite feast featuring a mouth-watering selection of scrumptious dishes, savor flavors from around the world, with everything from savory appetizers to delectable desserts that will leave you craving more. Dance the night away to the fantastic sounds of Dr. Wax and DJ Screw. Tickets are just $80. For ticket information, contact Nick at 347-528-3038, Glenn at 718-450-4436, Stephen at 347-385-6583, or Peter at 347-729-5770. Join us at Bougain on June 28th for a night that celebrates life, friendship, and the beauty of nature.
Yes, so please support that event out there in New York. All right, so quite a bit happening. Don't forget, we are heading to Carriacou Saturday. Today's Wednesday. So you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So 3 more days. And if you remove today, then you have 2 more days. All right? Thursday, Friday. That's it. So again, saying to you, we're going to Carriacou. The first Osprey leaves at 7:45. The second Osprey leaves at 8:15. 8:15. And when we arrive in Carriacou, we will go around the island in a motorcade style. We're going around the island. All right? We're going to see the place. And then we're coming back on Paradise Beach. Paradise Beach. So one of the best beaches in the world. So there you would have food on sale. Food on sale. Drinks on sale. Barbecue chicken and so on too. On sale. And then you have music and games. Playing dominoes, you're playing all fours, you're playing whatever. You know, you have a chance to go and bathe on the beach. So you can go on the beach and bathe. You can go wherever you want in Carriacou. And if you have time, you could go as far as Petit Martinique. Because remember, we leave in Carriacou at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. So we will have a wonderful time in Carriacou, celebrating with the Honorable Tevin Andrews and the team, because they are doing a fantastic job. They're doing a really good job. And I want to commend, I want to applaud them. Keep doing what you're doing. Fantastic. We love it. I've been to Carriacou a number of times after Hurricane Beryl, so I know. All right? So I want to encourage you to mobilize, organize, and get ready. We're going up to Carriacou. First set of tickets gone. So I'll be preparing 20 more. Just 20 more to take care of some of the people who are custom coming up and, they didn't get their money in time and they miss out. So I intend to print about 20 more tickets, just 20 more. When you come by the boat, you have to present your ticket. You must present your ticket. And those who I'm keeping tickets for, then I'll give you before. So you have to come early enough so you're going to get your ticket and then you present it. And then you're given a band. And you keep that band all the way up and all the way down. I know there are about 5 or 6 people who will be up there already. So they're coming back down with me. So while they purchase their ticket and so on, they're not coming up. They're coming back down. So I'm aware of that. So you're going to get your bands up there. I know who you are. But for the people in Grenada going up, we're going to give you a band and you'll be able to board the Osprey to go up. All right? We want to encourage you not to carry all this load and load and load because it's a chartered trip. All right? You know, normally the Osprey would go up with people come with a carry-on and their luggage and the this and the that and the... No, this time it's a chartered boat. You don't need to bring up anything. Just bring yourself. That's important because when you have that, then you have more people who can be on board. All right? So it's a nice balancing act. 2 boats, 2 Ospreys. And Saturday will be nice. Saturday will be nice. So don't worry. Saturday will be wonderful in Carriacou. We will have a nice, nice time. In fact, I was checking the weather, you know, because you can actually check the weather for Grenada for a whole week. All right? So Saturday will be nice. Yes. Saturday 21st will be nice. All right? So we look forward to you being there, coming up and having a nice time. You know, Carriacou. Well, not for Grenada. Let me look for Carriacou. Focus for Carriacou, not Grenada. Forget we live in Grenada. Carriacou. Well, you talk about sun, it's just sun you're getting. Friday, right? In fact, Saturday, we're looking good. Saturday. So in Carriacou today, sun, partly sunny. You know, might get a little shower. Thursday, sun. Friday, sun. Saturday, more sun. In fact, the best day in all of that there is Saturday. All right? Saturday. So it's gonna be nice. All right? It's gonna be nice. We got nice weather. Go on the beach. You enjoy yourself. You take a nice bath. Thing go nice. Thing go nice. Don't worry. Thing go nice. All right? That's for Saturday. I was looking for, right? Nice. 21st. Right. So, you know, looking forward to you coming up there with us and having a nice time. All right? The people who told me to hold tickets for them, I have it. I have it with me. So you just have to collect it before, which is important. Collect it before. So you go be nice. Thing go nice. Organize yourself, mobilize. Remember, the people who will be coming to Carriacou with us, and you organize your bus, right? Your full bus load of people. Because, you know, you have some people with 14 people, 15 people. I am saying, remember, I am only paying half of the bus to go back home, not to come. So you could organize your bus to pick up your people and to bring them right there in the morning. You could do that and they could pay their bus. But to go back home, I will pay half of the cost of the bus. So if the busman charge you $200, I'm paying $100 to help you who organize the bus. And then there are people who are not a part of any organized bus. So what I will do is to organize a bus for the western side, and if there's a need for 2, then I'll do that to take you back home. And that bus should go all the way up to St. Patrick. And then I'll organize another one to take you from Carriacou into, places like the Northeast, right? Boca, Bolio, that kind of area. Organize one to do that. And I'll organize one to take you over the Grand Etan into Bruch Grove and them kind of areas there. And then another one, the Grandance end, right? Into the St. David end, and then one top road, St. David. So I would organize those buses before. I would organize them before. Because I know from the tickets and how I distribute them and so on, I know there are people who told me straight up, they need a bus, they need a transport to go back home. And there are people who come with trucks and other vehicles. So we could carpool, we could, go work it out. Because sometimes you living in that particular area and the person has their vehicle, they could get a ride. It's love. NDC people is about love. So we'll kind of have them busting them on pause for the night. So I'll organize to see who could bring up, who could organize, and who had to go, how much people, and then I'll call them. Then I say, okay, pick up time 12 o'clock at the Carriacou or 12:30 or so. So people kind of know what to expect. But I will leave nobody behind. No one will be left behind. You could go and sleep knowing that. I will leave no one behind. You're going to get home and you go be safe. All right? So bear that in mind. You have no fear. Good? That's how I operate. And the people who are accustomed coming to things involving me that I organize, you know how I operate. It's not no guess. That's how I do things. So Wilma, she'll prepare her breakfast and so on. She'll come there, sell she breakfast and thing in the morning. So you don't have to worry about breakfast, you get by Wilma. When you reach up there, you buy your food, you buy your drinks, you party, paid, free up, the tour, the nice vibes. Visit who you have to visit you. Because we are going up with a good amount of people in Carriacou. All right? It go nice. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. And again, I'm leaving here. I'm going by Ricky's Bar early. For the people who told me to keep tickets for them and to hold tickets for them, I go in there early o'clock. Come, you collect your ticket and you. So, I want to say to you, have a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub again to continue the journey. Take care and bye for now. All right? So we're going to link